Hey guys, Jamie here at Thor Off-Road. We're back in the classroom with Carli 101. Today we're going to talk about Torsion Sway Bar. Now the Torsion Sway Bar is an option that we get asked a lot. Is it worth the money? You know, what does it do? Is it going to make my ride better? How does it affect this and that? And so I want to give you guys a good idea of like what the options are and how it's going to change your ride on your Carli equipped truck. So to do that, let's just talk about what a sway bar is. Like if you go back to like the definition of a sway bar, it's technically an anti-sway bar. The sway bar lets the truck stay very stable and flat, right? And that's what it's for. It's so whenever you throw a vehicle into a corner, not just a truck, but any vehicle, right? A sway bar is there to help keep that vehicle from actually rolling, right? So the torsion sway bar does the exact opposite of that. We want to let that front axle move, and we want to be able to move the truck around, and it's a big solid axle vehicle, right? So how do we get that done? Well, we have to take the anti-sway bar off and put something else on. So whenever you're outfitting your Carli truck, right, we always talk about this ride from 0 to 10, right? We got the base kit gets us here, the leaf springs get us here. Now we've got these things that make incremental changes, you know, like radius arms and upper and lower steering stabilizer. The torsion sway bar falls into this category where we're making an incremental ride change with something that is changing the way a solid axle truck works with an anti-sway bar. So that's a lot. What are your options? Okay, option one is you can leave the sway bar, the factory one in, but you have to use a sway bar drop. So they make a sway bar drop bracket and everything stays the same and the ride quality will not change. Who's that good for? Well, it is good for some people. It might say, well, that's doing nothing. Well, it's not. A guy who tows a lot, who really needs that truck to stay stable, would probably err to just do this. Okay, he's not going to put a torsion sway bar on unless he's towing, getting somewhere, and then wheeling that vehicle, which we'll get to that. But somebody who doesn't want the front of that truck to roll or do anything, this is a good option, right? Another option is you can go to the extended end links and the drop. Now we're not technically changing the bar, so the characteristics of the truck are going to stay pretty much the same. There is some much better movability inside of the Carli end links rather than just your standard sway bar end links that are just a little ball and socket kind of thing. But it would definitely be an upgrade, but we're still not changing the characteristic of the truck in a sense that it still has an anti-sway bar intact. So the torsion sway bar, replacing that and taking the sway bar off the truck and putting a torsion sway bar on, what does it really do and what are the ride quality changes? Is it worth the money? Those are all the questions that we always get, right? It is a great upgrade for not a ton of money. And the guys that are going to take a big 9,000 pound truck, 8,000 pound truck, whatever it is, or heavier than that, depending on if it's loaded for overlanding, and you're going to take it out and you're going to ask those front tires to move. I think the best like day-to-day scenario that we can kind of use as an analogy is if you've ever driven into a driveway where the driveway is at an angle and you hit it with that driver's side tire and it just like rocks the truck sideways, right? That's the sway bar doing its job. What you would feel different with a torsion sway bar is that the truck would actually, you know, that torsion sway bar is going to let that tire move without forcing the other tire to move at the same rate. So it's going to give it some independent suspension feel, even though this is still a solid axle truck. Like I'm not saying it is going to feel like an IFS truck. It won't, but it's going to give it a little bit more room to move. Now, what does that do when you're going down the road at fast speed, right? Now we're going to take like a lot of this back and forth that you would feel on uneven pavement. You're going to get some independent movement in the tires, so it's going to take a lot of the jounce and everything out of what you're feeling on the road. When you're off-road and you're moving over some uneven terrain, even at slow speed or high speed, it's just going to smooth out the ride quite a bit. And I use the word incremental and quite a bit. I know they kind of conflict each other, but whenever you take all the aspects of what Carli is trying to do, and then we add these little things, it's just that little bit more that adds to getting to that 10 ride quality that we're always trying to fight for. Now, going back, you may not need that. You may have a different need, and you set this truck up to ride as good as it can, but it still needs to tow. But if you're an off-road guy, you're gonna go out on the weekends, you're gonna go to your ranch, or honestly, if you live somewhere where you've got to traverse some uneven ground and you don't want your coffee to spill in your center console, the Torsion Sway Bar is a great option. So when you guys are deciding which one's best for you, think about that. You know, where am I taking my truck? What am I really setting it up for? Am I trying to get to the best absolute ride quality I possibly can? So you may still have some more questions and want to know if the Torsion Sway Bar is the right option for you. We sell the Torsion Sway Bar on our online store. You know, our phones are always open, email, you can message us on Instagram and Facebook, whatever's easier for you. Just give us a call and we'll talk through it. We'll make sure the Torsion Sway Bar is right for you and get your Carli truck equipped for whatever adventures ahead of you.